Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my Stranger Things Readathon TBR. So in the month of September I am co-hosting a Stranger Things Readathon and I'm so excited. I'll make sure to link all the other hosts down below and also check out the announcement video if you haven't already so you can get all the information on the Readathon if you want to participate. So there are basically 3 teams for the Readathon that you can choose from to put your pages into. So I'm co-hosting the team Griswold family with Peyton, but the other teams are Scoop's Troop and Eagle's Nest, and I'm actually trying to do all of the challenges for all 3 teams because I am crazy. So I'm trying to do 1 book per challenge, so I'm trying not to double up because I want to read as much as I can since it is a month-long readathon and push myself as much as possible. I don't know if I can do this, but I have a lot of books sitting on my floor, so let's just get right on in to the TBR. So the first challenge is Max and 11 read a book featuring a strong female friendship. So for that I chose The Keeper by Kim Chance. Now the only reason why I know this actually does feature a female friendship is because I did start reading it. I'm on page 96, so I think I am going to start this book over for the readathon because I genuinely don't remember that much from these 96 pages, but I do remember a strong friendship between the main character Lainey and her best friend Maggie, and I'm very excited to read more about them because I was very intrigued by Maggie and their dynamic with each other. So I don't know too much about this book and I don't really want to know too much about it. There are certain books where I just want to go in pretty blind and this is one of them. All I know is that there are witches. I'm currently in a Halloween-y fall mood, so this seems like the perfect read to pick up next month. The next challenge is Nancy read a mystery novel or a nonfiction book. So I actually had 2 options for this one and I might end up reading them both. So for the mystery novel I have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a book that I bought recently. Actually most of these books are books that I bought recently, so you guys can go check out my birthday book haul if you want to see me haul a lot of these books. So this book is following 2 different timelines. The first timeline follows the founder of Ellingham Academy as he's building the school, I think, and then his daughter and wife go missing and it's this big unsolved mystery. And then present day where Stevie is attending the school. She's a mystery aficionado and she is determined to solve this cold case. So this sounds really good. I've heard amazing things about it. A lot of people love it, so I'm very excited to finally get into it, and mystery is a genre that I do want to get more into, so I'm very excited for this one. But I also have a non-fiction option as well, and that is To Selena with Love. So this is a book written by Chris Perez, who was Selena's husband at the time of her death. I think this is just about him talking about his time with Selena and probably about her death as well. I've always been very interested in Selena. I love the movie. My mom read this book years ago and then she bought it recently and she's been begging me to read it, so I thought that this would be the perfect time to pick this one up and learn a bit more about Selena and a bit more about Chris Perez as well. So I'm very interested to read this one. The next challenge is Jonathan read a book with a picture perfect cover. So for this one I chose Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. This cover, so stunning. I've been drawn to this cover so much over the years since it came out. It's just these beautiful flowers and oh, I don't know. Just whoever designed this cover is a genius because it is just so beautiful. And I've heard so many amazing things about this book. It's basically about 2 brothers that couldn't be more different from each other, and then one day they go to a party and it ends in a police raid and Tyler goes missing, and it's up to his brother to kind of try to figure out what happened to him, I think, and all of that jazz. It sounds like it's going to be really emotional, but I'm really excited. It is quite a short read, which is good for readathons, so I am very excited to get to this one. Then we have the next challenge, which is Mike read a book that has a soft boy character in it, and I've had such a hard time coming up with a book for this one because it's so hard to pick books for challenges that talk about something that specifically is in the book that you don't know until you read it. So I try to go on Goodreads things, I try to watch recommendation videos, I tried so many ways to find a book with a soft boy in it, but a lot of them I've already read that I kept seeing around. So I decided to just do a reread for this one. I do love rereading books, and since this is a month-long readathon, I am going to allow myself to include some rereads in this TBR. So I chose A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahara Mafi. This is her first YA contemporary novel and I loved it so much. I read it 2 years ago and I loved it, and Ocean in this book is such a soft boy. He's just so sweet and caring, and I can't wait to reread this, and I have been wanting to pick it up again for a while now. I think over a year I've been wanting to reread this book, and so this just seems like the perfect opportunity. I really want to read about Ocean again and I'm just really excited. This is just a book following a Muslim teenage girl following the events of 9/11 and having to deal with racism in her school and whatnot, and she's also into breakdancing, which is really, really cool. That's an amazing part of the story, and it's a really emotional read, but also just so beautiful, and I can't wait to reread it. And then the next challenge is will read an underhyped or underappreciated book. I watched an underhyped book recommendation video by Chasing Pages, and she recommended, thankfully because I really wanted to read this book, she recommended Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. So she said that this one was pretty underhyped, and I have seen a few people talk about it, but not a lot of people, and so I'm very excited to get to this one finally. I did start it last year and then I put it down because I wanted to read something else, and at the time I was reading it from the library, so now I own my own copy and now I can read it, and I'm so excited. It's about this boy named Jack, and he meets this girl named Kate at a party, and they hit it off right away. Then she unexpectedly dies, and he gets stuck in this time loop where he goes back to the day that they met, and he has to relive it over and over, and he kind of decides to take this opportunity to try to prevent her death. Sounds like it's going to be emotional but also amazing, and I just can't wait to read this one. And then the last challenge for the Griswold family team is Lucas, read a book featuring a black main character or written by a black author. So for that I chose You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. Everybody has been talking about this book recently, and I have been dying to read it, and so this one's perfect for this challenge. Black main character, black author. It works for both of those, and I'm just so excited about this. It's about a girl named Liz, and it's like her dream to go away to college, but then her financial aid falls through. She has to then run for prom queen because there is a scholarship attached to it if you win, and then she ends up maybe catching feelings for another girl in the running, and it just, oh, it sounds so good, and I've literally not heard a single bad thing about this book, and I'm just so excited to finally get to it. It's another short read, which again is perfect for readathons, and so I'm just really excited about this one. So now I'm going to go through the Eagle's Nest challenges. So the first one is Murray, read a hate to love romance. So for that I chose 10 Things I Hate About Pinky by Sandra Menon. I'm so excited about this book. This is the third book in the Dimpleverse. This book takes place over summer, and our main character Pinky is tired of her parents always badgering her for her bad life decisions, so then she recruits Samir to kind of be her fake perfect boyfriend to try to get her family off of her back, and I am just so excited. They don't really like each other. We meet them both in There's Something About Sweetie. Pinky doesn't really like Samir, but I think Samir just wants her to like him and like accept him from what I remember from Sweetie, but I am so excited about this book. Okay, so the next challenge is Joyce, Why Are All These Magnets Losing Their Magnetism? Read a book that you've always felt drawn to. So I actually don't have a concrete book picked out for this one, but I do have two books that I saw on my shelf because I am reading a lot of books that I've just purchased, so I'm trying to read some of my backlog TBR as well. So I have two options for this. So I have either Goodbye Days by Jeff Zentner, which is another book that I've already started reading, and I'm on page 76, and I don't think that I would start this book over, so if I do read this one, when I input my pages into our form, I will just be excluding these pages, so I'll just minus it from the total amount of pages. So this one's about a guy named Carver who feels very guilty over the death of his best friends because they all just died in a car accident, and he feels very responsible because he was the one that sent them the text that caused them to be texting while driving that got them into the accident. And so it's about him kind of like going to their funerals and having to deal with mourning them, and also feeling guilty over their death and feeling responsible for their death, and also just being alone in the world because all of his best friends are now gone and he has no other friends. And it seems like a really sad book. It was sad from the 76 pages that I read, so this is one that I've always kind of been drawn to. I've had the arc for 3 years now, so it's about time that I finally actually read it all. Plus it's on my 2020 TBR, so I need to read it so I can check it off in my bullet journal. The other book that I have for this one is another 2017 arc that I got at the same time as that one, and it is The Takedown by Corey Wang. This one I don't know too much about. I think it's about our main character who, like, something gets leaked about her. Yeah, so a video of Kayla having sex with a teacher, I think, goes viral, but the thing is it's not actually her in the video, so she has to kind of like hack into things, I think, and like show everybody that it's not her. I don't really know, but it sounds pretty interesting. Either we'll be reading this one, or maybe not. Maybe I'll pick something else for this challenge. I don't know, but these are the kind of ones that first came to my mind when I saw this challenge, so these are my options for this one. Make sure you guys watch my vlogs in the month of September because I am weekly vlogging if you want to see what books I actually decide to read during the month, because this TBR could completely change. So the next challenge is Hopper. I want you to still feel like this can be your home. Reread a book that feels like home. This was between Wonder, which is my favorite book of all time, and this book, and I decided to go for this book because I want to read Wonder a little bit later on in the year. I think I want to read it in November. So for this one I chose Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It's about a girl with anxiety, and she has like this cool web comic thing. She ends up meeting like this guy who's like a huge fan of her web comic, but nobody knows that it's her, so she kind of keeps it a secret from him, and it's just such a good book. It deals a lot with fandoms. I don't even know, but this book is so much fun, and it just means so much to me, and so definitely when I read it, it feels like coming home, and I'm actually going to be annotating it, which I'm so excited about, so this one definitely felt like the right one to pick for this challenge, and I cannot wait. The next challenge is Alexi's Cherry Slushy. Read a book that has red on the cover. So for this one, I couldn't find a book on my TBR that had red on the cover, so I just chose a reread, and that is A Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a wonderful book about this bookseller named A.J. Fikry, obviously, and he's kind of like a grouch and like a recluse. He doesn't like talking to people. This book's like about like a bunch of things. It's really hard to explain, but like his Edgar Allan Poe like first edition or something, it's like a really rare book goes missing, and then also this this baby gets left off at the bookstore that he works at, and he has to like take her in. It's really weird, don't know how to describe it, but it's a really great book. It's really emotional, has so many good quotes in it, and it's obviously about a book lover, which is something that I adore reading about, so I'm really excited to reread this book and re-annotate it. The next challenge is Summer Carnival. Read a fun fantasy book. So for this one, I chose The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. This is a YA fantasy type book. I actually don't know what this book is about like concretely, and I really failed at describing it in my book hauls, but there's something about a monster lurking in a town, and these founders' children have to like go after it or something and save the town. I don't really know, but this book has been comped as being like Stranger Things, and so it seems like the perfect book to read for this readathon. Plus, this was actually the group book for the readathon last year, and I didn't read it, so now I can make up for that a year later and read it this round. So I'm very excited about this one. And the last challenge for Eagle's Nest is The Upside Down. Read a book outside of your comfort zone. So for this one, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to read, but I did check out Wicked Fox by Kat Cho on my Overdrive app, so I could potentially be listening to this for this challenge because it is kind of like a higher fantasy, which is always out of my comfort zone. So that's just kind of what I've picked for this one. I don't really have that many other options that I think that I would actually get to, and obviously a lot of the books I'm reading are physical reads, and so I am trying to mix in some audiobooks this month, so I just decided why not do Wicked Fox. I have it checked out, so hopefully I can get around to it and listen to it because I've heard amazing things about it. Then the last team is Scoop's Troop. The first challenge is Dustin. Read a sci-fi book, and sci-fi is not really my thing, but I saw the audiobook for Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman on Overdrive, so I also have that checked out, so I'm going to be listening to that one because I've heard amazing things about the audiobook. I also don't really know what this book's about, so going in blind for quite a few of these, but that's fine with me. Then the second challenge is Erica. Read a middle grade book, and I'm so excited about this one, so I chose Ghost Squad by Claribel A. Ortega. This is a middle grade fantasy-ish book. It takes place, I think, the night before Halloween. Our main character basically casts a spell with her best friend that ends up releasing all of these like spirits into the town that end up wreaking a lot of havoc, and they have to kind of go on this adventure to stop these ghosts and spirits. It sounds amazing. It's also been comped as being similar to Stranger Things and Coco, which is something that I watched recently. So good. So I'm looking so forward to this one. It feels like the perfect book again to read during this readathon. The next challenge is Robin. Read a book featuring a female-female relationship. For that, I chose Summer Assault by Katrina Leno. This one has a female-female relationship in it. Obviously, if I chose it for this challenge, duh. But this is kind of like a contemporary book, kind of like a magical realism. There's magic in it, but like a contemporary setting. But it's something about taking place over the summer. One twin sister has her magic, the other one doesn't, and you have until your 18th birthday basically to get your magic. So it sounds really cool. It takes place over the summer. We're in the tail end of summer here, so I'm very excited to get to this one. That's all I really know about it, but I'm very excited. The next challenge is Steve. Read a popular book. So for that, I chose Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. This is a book that I've seen around book Twitter, booktube a lot recently, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, so I'm very excited to get to it. We're basically following our main character Felix, who is a black transgender queer male, and somebody in his school, I think, is sending out or posting pictures of him pre-transition and also posting his dead name online. All he wants to do is seek revenge against this person somehow. I think there's also some sort of love triangle, and I think he falls in love. I don't really know, but it sounds amazing. This cover is gorgeous, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, so I'm really excited to finally be getting to it as well. The next challenge is USS Butterscotch. Read a sweet contemporary book. So for that, I chose Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This is the third book in the Once Upon a Con series trilogy. I don't even know if there's more books in this series. I should probably figure that out. These books are always such a sweet and fun time, and I really adore them. I don't know too much about what this book is about, and honestly I don't really want to, but I am very excited for it, and I've been craving a new Ashley Poston book, so I am ready for this. The last challenge is Starcourt Mall. Read a book that you bought/received recently. So for this one I chose Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. This is a book that I just bought recently. Like I said, you guys can go check out my book haul in the cards if you want to see me haul this book. But this is a book about political canvassing, I think, and there's a cute romance in it, and I'm just very excited to read another Becky Albertalli book. And I've never read anything by Aisha Saeed, but if I like this book, maybe I'll look to see if they have any other books that I can pick up, because I do think they have other books out. I'm just not sure. But this one sounds really, really adorable, and I really wanted to add it into this TBR. This is just a challenge that I chose to put it for. Those are all of the books that I'm planning on reading for the Stranger Things Readathon. I know it's a lot. If I don't end up reading all of these books, there are some that I can double up for. I'm just trying to do the most and read all of the books. So I guess we'll see what happens, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below if you are participating in the readathon and what you're going to be reading, because I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already. I am going to be posting weekly vlogs in the month of September for the readathon, so you don't want to miss those. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!